I'm sorry, but you can't say you want a good man and then speak about men like they're the problem.
Yes, you absolutely can, because we are the problem. I view it much in the way that, regardless of who's in power in government, we have the right to criticize and expect better. And that is true for men in what they're looking for in a partner and women. The way a lot of men act in society is problematic. 60 million men in a Rape Academy website, and that's not the only website of its kind on the internet. Men in Brazil training and doing shit on social media on how to beat the shit out of her if she says no. What was it in France? 170 some thousand cases of child sexual assault within the Catholic Church. Now multiply that worldwide. Men in New York just punching women in the face for no reason. The hockey rape trial in Canada. Countless iterations of that appearing. The Telegram group chat of 60,000 men or something in a rape group chat. The unequal distribution of labor within heteronormative relationship. The over-sexualization of their bodies in media. The beauty standards that are rooted in pedophilia and pornography. Epstein's Island. Virtually most of the heinous acts committed in this world are by men. I don't know a single woman that hasn't been assaulted at some point in their life. And because men like those exist, we, good guys, get away with bare minimum behavior. We benefit off the bad behavior of other men. It's only been within our lifetimes, 50, 60 years, since women were able to have a credit card, open a bank account, not be raped within a marriage because they were viewed as property, vote. Across the world, progress is relatively recent, and women are excelling at it. Think of all they've done. And the way we treat them, the things that they let slide for many years, they're no longer willing to do that. And they are autonomous human beings capable of making their own choices. So if we want to be with them, you should always, regardless of your man or woman, we all have our fucking problems. You should always be striving to become a better version of yourself, to improve and grow as a human being. You can have your own standards of women if you want. If your partner's not willing to accept what you're offering, you won't have a partner. Women are okay with that. The question is, are we? Women can want a good man and still look at most men as problematic, as not a version of what they're looking for. Us getting hurt feelings, kicking and screaming, throwing little temper tantrums. Well, I mean, I'm a demisexual man, so maybe I should speak in language that you would understand. If you want to get laid, want to get your dick sucked, respecting women's a pretty good way to get there. Make her feel emotionally safe. Be spontaneous. Be spontaneous. I'm an author, by the way. Look, women, despite what social media tells you, aren't obsessed about whether you're 6 foot, 6 inches, six figures. The general population does not care about those things. They care about a few things: emotional maturity. And yeah, a lot of us could use some therapy and undoing patriarchal biases and double standards that are unfair. If they were done to you, you would not be okay with it. Whatever. All these superficial qualities like, penis size, height. First of all, every woman's different and has different preferences, and most generally don't care. Some people do, but that's seen as more of a bonus, and a lot of times they won't pass up a good man. And if they would, over such a superficial quality, they're not the type of person you could ever form the kind of relationship that you're looking for anyway. All this dating advice and stuff on the internet is just ridiculous. Fulfill your partner's emotional needs and wants. Learn what before and after care is. Listen to them and their body signals. Figure out what they like. By the way, pro tip, the left lip isn't the clitoris. Women like sex too. And a healthy relationship with the exclusion of the asexual community. Sex happens organically and much more often when it's a happy reciprocal relationship. I hate to say, old terms like this, but happy wife, happy life. That doesn't mean you sacrifice yourself. You find someone that matches with who you are. Certain things are important to who you are. Most of the problems that exist in modern dating are basically just lack of emotional maturity on the man's side, unwillingness to go to therapy and work on the problems in the relationship, previous trauma from other men, lack of communication skills on our part, and a bunch of views in society that are inherently misogynistic, especially amongst religious circles, conservative circles. It's not illogical if you take the emotion of your loneliness out of it to connect why women would be happier single than putting up with what we're offering. And a lot of women that I've talked to as well are also aware that psychologically they have barriers and walls built up and they don't have what it takes for a relationship themselves. I think amongst progressive circles, the big disparity is that the women in those circles are willing to be alone, to work on themselves, to raise their standards, to build a life that they want rather than constantly conceding. Whereas us men just go into the next relationship that we can get, essentially. I don't know. It's just, we treat women as a monolith when in reality, you pursue an individual woman. And if you want to be with that woman, then her standards are her standards. And what she requires is what you gotta do. And so if you want to be with someone, then working on yourself overall and becoming someone that knows how to listen to women, well, that's going to get you much further than listening to these podcasters or whatever, people on social media that are using an algorithm to generate income, who are manipulating you and your thought processes, your insecurities for their own benefit. They have a vested interest in keeping you lonely. Learn how to treat women in general without the desire for sex. Learn how to form connections and friendships. The person that you end up in a relationship with, make them your best friend and treat them the way you would treat your male best friend in the good aspects, not the toxic way that, us men kind of, treat others as you wish to be treated. That's it.